This is my book. It's called Sticks and Stones. It just came out this past July, so it's pretty new. I'm super, super excited about it and super proud of it. My face is on the back and everything, which is a pretty big deal. I like to show it to all my friends and family and, you know, random people at bookstores and outside. So if you ever write a book, you know, sometimes you get your face in it. Very exciting stuff. Sticks and Stones is about a 12-year-old girl named Elise who has this super rare skin disorder. And nobody panic. You know, sometimes people worry, like, what is this? Am I going to get it? You're not. It's not real. I made it up. Nobody panic. But her rare skin disorder that I made up is where the names other people call her actually show up on her body and stick like temporary tattoos. So if somebody goes up to her and says, you know, hey, Elise, you're weird, W-E-I-R-D, the word actually appears on her arms and legs and sticks and hangs out there. And the bad ones make her also feel really, really itchy. So she's just a regular person, you know, she goes to school and hangs out with her friends and does her homework, all that regular stuff, but she has these words just kind of hanging out on her body, and it's not always the most fun thing. So in the book, Elise decides that she's really sick of all these bad words. Things that she thinks about herself have started to show up too, and sometimes she's not super nice to herself, so there's all these itchy words. So she decides she really wants to work hard to do whatever she can to make them more good than bad. And around that time, she starts getting these mysterious notes from somebody who says, you know, I want to help you make the words good, and if you follow my instructions, that will happen. And so Elise kind of has to decide if she wants to follow these instructions, and also who is writing these notes and why. So there's a little mystery in the book as well. I'll give you a quick sneak peek. My second book, Bubbles, comes out this July 4th. It's not out yet. This is a fancy advanced reader copy. See, it says that in the corner. There aren't very many of them in the world, so it's pretty fun to share it with you guys. You're a very big deal. This book is sort of similar to Sticks and Stones. It's about a 12-year-old regular person, regular life. But one day, Sophie starts seeing thought bubbles. You know, like in cartoons or in graphic novels, she starts seeing little bubbles appear over real people's heads, and they say what Sophie thinks the people are really thinking. So at first that's kind of fun, but then it gets, you know, a little intense. So if you're curious about that, check out Bubbles this summer. Do you guys have any questions about the books or writing or anything else you want to talk about? I'm ready.
There you go.
Okay, so, when you were not writing, like at dinner, were you still thinking about what to write?
Oh, that's an awesome question. You know what? I actually get my very best ideas for writing when I'm not thinking about writing at all. Usually if I like sit in front of my computer and I'm like, I need an idea, I have to write something amazing, I will not think of a thing and I will get cranky. But usually if I'm out walking my dog or hanging out with my friends or just, you know, doing whatever, reading, watching TV, any regular stuff, sometimes things just kind of pop into my head. And so I always make sure I have like a little notebook and stuff anywhere I go, because those ideas pop up at random times and I want to make sure that I remember them. Because a lot of the times they end up being like really good ideas that I use for my books. So it's good to be prepared.
Great. Ready?
How does it feel to be in the life of an author? How does it feel?
How does it feel to be an author? Okay, you're kind of a little fuzzy here. It feels awesome. I'm a big fan. No, it was really, really exciting to find out that I was going to be an official author, because it's always been my dream, like ever since I was in elementary school. So I just felt super, super proud of myself and super excited. But you know, it's not always easy. It's like with any job or with going to school, you know, sometimes it's really fun and amazing and exciting, and sometimes it's stressful and frustrating. And there's challenges with anything you do, right? But I always feel really proud of myself, like if I tackle a tough revision or edit or something, or I figure out the solution to a problem in the book, that I'm working on. I always feel really proud of myself after. So it's, you know, any stressful times are worth it for me.
Nice smile.
How did you create the title of your book?
Oh, the title, Sticks and Stones. That's a good question. Well, have you guys heard of that expression, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? I kind of was thinking about that as I was writing my book because, you know, for Elise, the main character, people are always telling her, you know, she's got these words on her body and people are always saying, oh, you know, sticks and stones, Elise, like words can't hurt you. And she's kind of like, you know, excuse me, people, they can hurt me. They itch me. They make me feel really rotten. And they do hurt, and you're wrong. And so, you know, the book kind of talks about how words really do hurt, whether or not they actually appear on your body or not. They still can hurt us and make us feel bad. And so that, you know, that expression really kind of made me think as I was writing the book. Maybe some expressions are not true, and it's worth talking about, I think.
Okay. Were you good at writing as a child?
Okay.
Yes. Well, I think so. People told me I was. I was really lucky because my parents and a lot of my teachers growing up told me I was good at writing, but also they encouraged me just to write because I liked it, because I thought it was fun. And I was also a really good reader, and I still am. And I think that's kind of what makes me a good writer in a lot of ways. I love to read because it's really fun, but whenever I'm reading something I really like, I also try to think about, you know, what is this author doing that makes me like this book so much? Like, are there really cool descriptions of characters? Is the plot like really exciting? What are they doing that's making me say, oh my goodness, I love this book. I need to keep reading. And then I try to kind of take that and incorporate it into things I write. And that's something I've always done ever since I was little. And I think it really has helped me a lot. So yeah, reading and writing has always been fun. And the more you do it, I think the better you get at both.
Ready?
Does the book Sticks and Stones relate to your childhood?
Does it relate to my childhood, you said? Okay. You know, I get asked a lot, like if I was bullied, because a lot of, you know, this book has to do with bullying. I actually really wasn't bullied much growing up. But the thing is, the thing that impacts me that I wanted to write about was how I was more of like a self-bully, if that makes any sense. Elise, you know, she gets called names by others, but a lot of the bad words that appear on her body are actually things that she thinks to herself in her own head. You know, whether she's having trouble with friends or school's not going well or whatever, you know, she tends to kind of blame herself and to think like, oh, you know, my friend doesn't want to hang out with me. Well, I must be really pathetic or whatever. And I think I was kind of a lot like that growing up. I was really hard on myself, and I always kind of made things seem like they were my fault, even if they really weren't. And that was not necessary. And so, you know, I wanted to write this book to remind people how important it is to be nice to other people. But I also wanted to remind people that it's important to be nice to yourself because, you know, we can be really mean to ourselves sometimes. And for what? Like, you know, like it's different to encourage yourself rather than to discourage yourself. Like there's no need to do that. You can still push yourself to be better and accomplish goals, but you don't have to be a jerk about it while you do it. So hopefully this book makes people think about the ways they treat themselves as well as other people.
Thank you. Good answer.
What's your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part of the book? Ooh, I like a lot of parts of the book. That's hard. I don't want to like spoil anything, but probably one of my favorite parts is near the end where a bad thing happens to Elise. And she kind of has to, like she really has to kind of get herself together and say like, okay, this is hard, but I can handle it and I'm gonna. And that's really hard for her. And, even as I was writing, I was like, is she going to be able to do this? I don't know. It was intense to write. It was like exciting. And like, sometimes I don't know what's going to happen when I start to write. I just kind of wait and see what my characters are going to do. So that part at the end there was fun to write. And it ended up being a really important scene in the book too. So if you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but that's all I'm going to say for now. So, haha.
What's your favorite book or books other than Sticks and Stones and Bubbles?
Yeah, I get asked that question so much. You would think I would have a good answer by now, but I don't, because I love so many books. And I have so many favorite books, and we need to spend the rest of the day on Skype so I can show them to you. Let's take a field trip to my bookshelves. Come on. This is my apartment. Now we're at my bookshelves. Welcome. Yay! I just rearranged them. They used to be in order by color, but I just rearranged them. Now they're in order by publisher. I like to change it up every now and then. So like I said, I love to read, and I love, 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 love books. I think my favorite of all time ever is probably this one right here, Frindle by Andrew Clements. It's so awesome. I've read it so many times, my cover's falling off. See? This is the same copy I bought when I was in 3rd grade a lot of years ago. But I still remember my teacher reading it to us, and I was just like so into it. I thought it was such a cool story. And it's all about this boy who just kind of starts questioning things around him. He's kind of like, why do we do the things we do? Like, without asking questions, and like, why are certain things just the way they are? Why can't we change them? And he actually starts to change something. And it kind of seems like a silly, small thing, but it grows and it becomes like this big thing. And I remember reading that book and being so excited by how it really seemed like one kid could make a difference. And it really inspired me, like, maybe I can make a difference too. And as a reader, it also made me really excited to read more books. And as you can see, I read a lot of books, and this isn't even all of them. But that's probably my favorite of all time ever, although I do have a lot of others that I like. But I know you have to leave eventually, so we'll just leave it with the one for now.
Yep.
What can you tell me about brainstorming for a book?
Ooh, brainstorming for a book. Well, like I said before, I get a lot of my best ideas actually when I'm not even thinking about the book at all. I think you're kind of like subconsciously thinking about it, like it's in the back of your brain. And then when you're not thinking about it so hard, you kind of get good ideas. Also, how little kids sometimes are kind of like, they're very curious, and they're very like, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why do we have toes? Like all those important questions. I'm kind of like that, even though I'm not a little kid, but I'm proud of it. And I think it's a good way to be, no matter how old you are, just curious about things around you. Because that's how I come up with a lot of my ideas. I'll be out walking my dog, and I'll just kind of look around, and I'll start thinking, like what if every tree that my dog sniffed, like, turned into a rainbow? Like, what if right now it just like started raining cupcakes? Like, this is what I think about. And a lot of the time these are just like random hopeful ideas, because it would be great if it rained cupcakes. But sometimes those are actually like solid ideas that lead to stories. I mean, that's kind of how Sticks and Stones came about. I was just kind of wandering, thinking, and, I was like, what if words showed up on people's bodies? And then I was like, wait, what if that happened? I don't know. I want to find out. That's kind of cool. And I started writing, and I found out. And that's like one of my favorite things about writing, is you can take like those random ideas that would never really happen in the real world, and you can actually kind of find out what would happen if they did. You can explore, and anything's possible. So that's a lot of fun.
Cool. Thank you.
Are you planning on writing any more books?
Oh yes, I'm planning on writing gazillions of more books. Well, maybe not gazillions. That's kind of a lot. Yeah, you know, I'm working on a few other things, and I'm thinking of ideas, and I'm kind of always doing something. And I don't know, you know, what the future holds, if they're going to be published or when, or what the covers will look like. I don't know any of that. But I do know that I love to write. Like, it's my favorite thing. It makes me feel so good, so happy, and I love to do it. And so even if, you know, another thing never ever gets published, I'll still be writing books because it's just fun for me to do, and I love it.
All right.
How long did it take you to write Sticks and Stones, and what about to revise and edit?
Ooh. Well, the interesting thing about writing is there's not really a right or wrong way to do it. You know, like whatever works for you, that's cool. Like, that works. I have some friends who write kind of slowly because they really plan everything out in detail. And then their editing doesn't take as long. I'm kind of the opposite, where I write really super fast. But then it's, you know, first drafts are not usually your final drafts, right? So it takes me a long time to go back and edit, but that's kind of what works for me. So Sticks and Stones, I wrote super fast. I wrote it in about a month, which is pretty quick for, you know, a book that long. And it was really fun, though. I had all these ideas in my head, and, you know, I just wanted to get them out of there. And so I just kind of sat down and I wrote, and it was awesome. But it was also a total mess at the end. And I would never make anybody read that, even people I don't like, because it was just that bad. But it existed, you know, and you can't fix something that doesn't exist. So I was excited to have something to work with. But yeah, revising definitely took me longer. I worked on it probably for about 6 months or maybe more, with friends and on my own. And once I got my agent, who's sort of like a teacher, but for writers, they kind of help you make your work better. I worked on it another 6 months, maybe, a little less. And then she submitted it to the publisher. And even if a publisher says they want to publish your book, you still go back and revise some more. So I worked on it with my publisher even more. And then, you know, it just came out this summer, July 2016. And I first wrote it in 2013 or 14. Well, one of those. It was like right on the border, around January. So, you know, it definitely, it takes a while. It's a long process, but it's really fun. Like, I really liked every step of the way, writing and revising. Yeah. So for me, I'm a fast writer and a slower reviser, but it's really different for everybody. And I like that a lot about writing, is that, you know, you just do what works for you, and it's cool.
What does it take to get a book published?
I didn't get that.
What does it take to get a book published?
What is it? What?
What does it take to get a book published?
What does it take? Okay. Kind of fuzzy for some reason. Well, it takes lots of patience and lots of cupcakes if you're me, because they're what my go-to stressed out food. No, you know, when I tried to get Sticks and Stones published, I really didn't know much about how publishing worked. And I was just kind of really lucky because I had people kind of give me advice along the way. And, you know, I did a lot of research to figure it out. And I mean, I worked hard, but I was lucky that things worked out. Once I was done revising the book as best as I could, I sent it off to some friends. And I actually discovered this contest on Twitter. Yay for Twitter and all those social media things. I found this contest where published authors were mentoring new writers who wanted to be published. And so I submitted my story to the mentors, and one of them chose me to work with. And so I got to work with a published author for about a month, and she went through my book and she gave a lot of ideas about how to make it better. And that was awesome because I didn't know what to do next. And she really helped me kind of take the book to the next level. From there, usually if you want to get a book published, you need an agent. And, you know, like I said, they're really similar to teachers. Like, it's literally their job to take your work and to give you ideas and to help you make it the best that it can be. Except with agents, you know, you don't just automatically get one like you do with teachers. With agents, you really have to research and find the ones who like books like the one you've written, and who are looking for new people and who might be a good match for you. And then you have to write them a letter and say, you know, dear agent, here's a little about my book. I've worked super hard on it. I think you'll like it. You know you want to help me with it. Won't that be great? And then you wait so patiently, or not, if you're me. And then a lot of the times you get back really nice emails that say, thank you so much for your submission. Unfortunately, something, something. Basically, the answer is no. I got a lot of those. On number 70, I got one that said, yes, I love this book so much. I can't wait to work with you on it. And that was so exciting because I'd gotten a lot of no's, and you know, that gets frustrating. But I really believed in this story, and I really wanted to do everything I could to try to get an agent for it. So I got an agent, and then she worked with me to revise the book even more. She had a lot of awesome ideas for making it better that I had never thought of. And I'm just so lucky I got to work with her because she really, I mean, the book, like, it kept all my original ideas and like what I wanted to get across, but it just like got so much better. Like, she just knew what I needed to do to make like the funny parts funnier and the mysterious parts more mysterious and all that stuff. And once I worked on it with her, she then goes to the publishers. She sends them a letter, kind of like the one I wrote to her. And she's saying, you know, I've got this great book. I think kids would really like it. We've worked so hard. You know, you want to publish it. Wouldn't that be great? And then usually she gets back emails that say, you know, thank you so much for your submission. Unfortunately, blah, 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 basically no. And so we got some of those. But then we got one that said, I love this book so much. Totally agree that it should be a real book. I want to help you. Let's publish it. So that's kind of how it happens. I got a lot of no's, but all it takes, you know, is the one yes from the agent and then the one yes from the publisher. And that's really, that's all you need. And it definitely got frustrating at times, but like, you know, I really believed in this story and in myself as a writer. And, you know, I wanted to do everything that I could. And then, you know, I worked with the publisher. We did more revisions. We did edits. You know, there's somebody whose job it is to help you make sure your commas are in the right places and all that stuff. So we did the details. Then they tell you what your cover's going to look like. There's all these little steps that I never really knew about, which are really cool to learn about. So we did all that. Then the advanced copies came out, you know, these with the little advanced copy logo on it. And then the real thing came out, and it's a long process, but it's so cool, and I'm so happy that I get to do it. So that's a little bit about how it works.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you like better, reading or writing, and why?
Oh, that's really hard. Gosh, reading or writing? I can't choose between those. It's like, what do you like better, breathing or eating? Like, you can't do both. I don't know. I think, you know, sometimes I'm in more of a mood like to read or to write. This is really hard. I mean, like I said before, you know, I think they really go together so much. You can't write if you don't read. You can't probably read as well if you don't write. You know, they really go hand in hand together. And I think you really need to do both a lot if you want to be an author. So, sorry, that doesn't really answer your question, but that's all I got. That is too hard. I can't handle it.
Thank you.
I need them both.
All right. Well, Miss Abby, we so appreciate you coming and joining us and sharing your thoughts about Sticks and Stones. Is there anything you else want to just add? Any final thoughts?
No, those were awesome questions. That was really fun. Thanks for asking those great questions and spending some time chatting with me. That was fun. You guys were great.
Right.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.